Broadcasts of HIKI NŌ are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo, and by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI NŌ.
Aloha and welcome to the first of 4 special HIKI NŌ episodes focusing on compassion. I'm Crystal Cebedo, a 2016 HIKI NŌ and Wai High School graduate. I'm currently attending Menlo College in Atherton, California, where I am double majoring in marketing and human resources. Having been a HIKI NŌ student through middle and high school, I have learned to keep an open mind and an open heart when looking for a story. Because PBS Hawaii does not assign topics to us, a diverse group of stories emerges, each one unique. When we look back at the HIKI NŌ archives, we see that there are some topics that students tend to gravitate towards. In this Focus on Compassion episode, the topic is Kūpuna, or elders. Whether it's the compassion we feel towards our elders or the compassion they show us, it is clear that HIKI NŌ students have an appreciation and love for our Kūpuna. Our first story focuses on a compassionate group of former global leaders called the Elders, and the wisdom they imparted on Hawaii's youth and young adults. From HIKI NŌ students at Aliamanu Middle School on Oahu, here is Elder Student Talk.
War, political strife, human rights, famine. Society faces conflicts and issues that seem too difficult to resolve. Who will the next generation turn to for answers?
With their experience and their profound commitment to building a better world, let us call them global elders.
In 2007, Nelson Mandela put together a group called the Elders. The mission that these former global leaders have is to empower people to find solutions to these problems. The Hawaii Community Foundation, through the Pillars of Peace Hawaii initiative, organized a student talk session between the elders and student leaders from high schools and colleges from around Hawaii.
I kind of want to expand my learning. Our school says it's a good thing to go to. This is my first time coming, so I'm not really sure what to expect.
Well, hopefully it'll show us more insight on leadership and what's going on in the world right now, global events.
The elders featured at the event included Grill Harlem Brundtland, Hina Delani, and Archbishop Desmond Tutu. For over an hour, they talked about how they were inspired to make a change in their homeland and how today's youth can make a difference.
For me, it's interesting to come here and to observe your experiences and to see the cultural diversity and your belief in aloha and the thing that you are here, as you said, a melting pot of people with very different backgrounds.
I think we would hope that young people would be inspired to going on, even when they face opposition. They will have helped to shape the world so that we did not spend so much money on arms and on instruments of destruction.
I do believe that women themselves have become very strong now, and there is a strong global women's rights movement, which is having its impact not just on the rights of women, but making for a better society and a better world community.
The elders' message seemed clear to those in attendance.
Where are you?
I liked how everybody talked with a passion. They all had a passion, and they all really wanted to reach out. They all really wanted to help. They really wanted to make a difference.
I really enjoy coming to events like this where I get to meet a lot of different students from other schools, and we all have this similar desire to learn about other people and their lives and build a really great global perspective.
Eventually I hope to change the world, make something of my life that I've been allowed to be here and just want to do something with that. So yeah, hope to do that someday.
As they exited the stage, the elders appeared confident that this generation of leaders will be ready to take on the issues that we face in the world today. From Aliamanu Middle School, I'm Alexandria Omni for HIKI NŌ.
Our next story tells the tale of a 101-year-old man who shows us that age is just a number when you're surrounded by the things and people you love most. From Chiefess Kamakahelei Middle School on Kauai, here is Papa Fu.
Have you ever met someone who was born over a century ago? Well, meet Charles Kauai Chung Fu, or more commonly known as Papa Fu.
Where were you born? I was born in Wailua, Kauai. I was born 1913.
1913. Let's see, how old does that make Papa Fu today?
101.
With years of experience, what is the key to long life according to Papa Fu?
Keep walking, I suppose, keep walking. I walk in a ranch. Early in the morning, I milk cows. I milk out all 6, 8, 12 cows. There were four of us, cowboys. I worked for the Princeville Plantation on a ranch. And then I worked for the county. And then I worked for the CCC company. That's a government. We work from different part of the island. We planted trees all around in Colorado Valley.
With a resume as long as his lineage, Papa Fu worked up until he was 100 years for his family restaurant and mining salt at salt ponds.
In the winter time, it's flooded. It's flooded, and we have to wait till the summer comes, and then when it's dry, then we start work on the salt pans, prepare the ground, and make the beds.
Others have their opinion about what they think Papa Fu's secret to long life is.
What do I think? His good attitude of life.
A lot has to do with just being around family. I think a lot of it is just being happy. He doesn't seem too stressed out about life.
Papa Fu has several hobbies that have kept him young over the years.
I like to fish. I like to go out boat, ride boat on. Yes, play harmonica. We had a club. We about 8 of us. And we all have harmonica, and then we play all the regular church songs.
With 101 years young, Papa Fu is still living strong. This is Kate and Keep from Chiefess Kamakahelei Middle School for HIKI NŌ.
After a long and fruitful life, Papa Fu passed away between the time this story first aired and now. He lived to be 102 years old. Our condolences go out to his family and friends. Our next story can be easily summed up as, you reap what you sow. We see how one farmer benefits from staying true to his roots by sticking with what he does best, caring for the land. From students at Aliamanu Middle School on Kauai, here is Taro Farmer.
If it rains, I still work 8 hours a day. Because at my age, at 98.
At 98 years old, Mr. Kenichi Ishikawa spends his days loving and caring for the taro fields on Kauai's North Shore.
I was just a plain farmer, so working 8 hours a day, and until now, I haven't changed too much.
For Mr. Ishikawa, farming isn't just a job, it's a lifelong passion and a longtime home. He's been providing for himself and others on Waikoko Farm since he was a boy.
I've been living all by myself right since I was 14 years old. I never depended on anybody. I did everything on my own, make a living.
Mr. Ishikawa's agricultural knowledge and nurturing character greatly influences those around him, including the farm's owners.
He has taught me how to cook taro his way, which is by boiling it a long time all day. He has taught me how to pull taro. He's taught me how to weed taro patches. He has taught me how to open a jabong with a sharp knife.
Mr. Ishikawa took a break from farming to serve in the 442nd Battalion during World War II. But he eventually returned to Hanalei and his love of agriculture. That love endured through the decades, even as his hometown transformed with an influx of development and technology.
Most of the companies, they hire all the educated people, more than just the high school graduates. In my case, I just went to grammar school, that's all. I never went to high school.
Despite a lack of formal education, Mr. Ishikawa stays true to the values and lessons cultivated from life on the farm.
He's taught me about long-term planning on the decisions that I make today don't just impact what happens tomorrow, but it impacts a week from now and a year from now and 20 years from now. And I always feel like when I'm around Kenichi, I always leave enriched and I always leave with more than I came.
Family always comes first. Family is most important. And hard work is good for you and will make you live longer.
Humble and hardworking, Mr. Ishikawa says he'll continue to care for the land and the people around him, no matter what.
See, the branch is facing that way, so you have to pull it away from the branch. This one is fresh.
Thank you.
This is Ella Beck from Kūpuna Middle School for HIKI NŌ.
Asking callers to identify themselves before handing out personal information can be the difference between a safe monetary exchange and a dangerous one. In our next story, compassionate students at Kainalu Elementary School on Oahu help spread awareness of how easily a grandmother's trust can be taken advantage of.
The elderly are being scammed at $2.6 billion per year due to financial fraud and abuse.
Here's a story of what happened to a Kainalu student's great-grandmother.
My great-grandmother got a call from someone and she said, "Hello, is this Chris?" Because I think she was expecting a call from Chris. And the person on the other side of the phone said, "Yes, this is Chris. I'm in Mexico and I need some money because I'm in trouble." And so he needed $2,000, and so she gave him $2,000. And then next time the person called again, and he needed $3,000 this time, and so she wired him $3,000.
She answered the phone and just said hello, and the caller said, "Hello, grandmother," and she said, "You mean Granny?" So she gave her name away. Granny is her affectionate name for all of us that call her Granny. And then she said, "Is this my grandson?" And the caller said, "Yes." And she said, "Is this Christopher?" And she said, oh, the caller said, "Yes, this is Christopher." So in that few minutes, she gave away her personal name, and also she gave the caller understanding of who his name was.
Unfortunately, I hear that story all the time. That's one of the things we're talking about, how many scam artists there are. They do it over and over and over again. That's actually a very popular scam. It's not that your great-grandmother was stupid or dumb or anything like that. It's just that she loves her family very much, and she doesn't want to see any harm come to any family member. That's why she is so willing to give the money.
We did a PSA about how my great-grandmother got scammed. We hope that our PSA will help people so they are more cautious about giving out personal information.
A lot of the people that are being scammed do not realize they are being scammed, because a lot of these con men, they're very good with their words. They're very good with the story. They're very good with manipulating people. And so that's one reason why they're able to get away with it.
My advice to other seniors is to ask who it is first before saying who it is. And don't give out your bank account number or any personal information, or else the scammers might try to take the money.
If you feel you've been a victim of scam, you should report it to the police or the City Prosecutor's Office for Elder Abuse Justice Unit.
I'm Colton.
And I'm Connor, reporting for HIKI NŌ
from Kainalu Elementary School.
Our next story comes to us from students at Waianae High School on Oahu, who show us one family's ability to deal with their grandmother's condition and how it requires everyone's collective effort. Their daily struggle is a reminder that even in the most frustrating of situations, their sense of duty to one another is one they won't forget.
You just think about like, oh, what if she tries to make breakfast and she leaves the stove on and the house burns down? Oh, she overdoses and she can't get to her phone and she's paralyzed on the ground.
Send a check to A7147 St. John's Road.
Hey, you remember our address?
It's a small victory for Edith Domingo
Where are you going? That's not to your room.
in a battle that she's losing every day.
At first it was funny because all the BP would just laugh and tease, but then kind of gets on your nerves after a while.
Why are you stealing my...
Edith is always up to something.
What do you usually do when we're not home?
Watch TV, and I eat, and I eat. And I read, and I read.
And she laughs, and she laughs.
Go ahead.
But the one thing she can't do
What did you eat at the spaghetti factory?
is remember.
Edith is one of 5 million people in the United States with dementia, a disease which causes a gradual loss of brain function. So even remembering her favorite grandchild isn't always easy to swallow.
Grandma, you took your pills?
Reminding her doesn't always get an answer, but the Domingos can still see the effect dementia is having on her.
I don't remember.
It's a really difficult situation for families when they have loved ones that have dementia, and even the individual may not realize, that they're not able to do as much as they used to do.
I think she gets frustrated, and some of it she gets scared. She frowns a lot nowadays. She just frowns.
This fear and frustration has caused Edith to hurt those closest to her.
She would just want to just fight and argue with Brina. Yeah, I think she punched her a couple of times. It was that bad.
But no matter how bad it's gotten, Brina has always been by her grandmother's side.
Yeah, I'm your favorite, yeah, Grandma.
With open arms and more than one way to solve a problem.
You're constantly repeating yourself, and it gets so draining and so exhausting that you just want to write it on a Post-it and stick it on her forehead, but you can't. Single scoop in the cake cone.
The Domingos are known for their creative solutions.
You want Cherish Jubilee, you said already.
Which are helpful when trying to ensure that Edith is in good hands.
I try to juggle time at home between schoolwork and helping Grandma. I love her. She took care of me when I was growing up. So now the roles are reversed.
It freaks me out sometimes. I would like to have someone home all the time to watch her, but can't have that, so we just hope and we pray.
And
Clam spaghetti.
Clam sauce.
they help her win as many of these small battles as they possibly can.
She's my mommy. She's my mom. Gotta take care, yeah. She's family, yeah.
This is Tressa Hoppy from Waianae High School reporting for HIKI NŌ. When it comes to the people we care most about, we want to ensure their safety and happiness. That also seems to be the mission at Maui Adult Daycare, where the staff's attention, assistance, and affection helps our elders thrive. From the students of Maui Waianae Intermediate School on Maui, here is Maui Senior Daycare.
7 days a week, Walter and Betty Carvalho spend their days at the Maui Adult Daycare Center. They've been married for 62 years, and even though their memories and hearing aren't what they used to be, their lives are still filled with love and joy because of their friends and staff at the adult daycare.
We give them the attention that they need. We give them the personal care that they need for themselves. I mean, we help them and we take good care of them. Well, the sad part is their children are working and there's no one to care for them. So being at Maui Adult Daycare, we provide their loving, caring, nurturing that they need here. Wash the windows, everybody.
Not only are Walter and Betty Carvalho living a healthy life, it helps their daughter, Jerry Nakamura, live hers.
It's good to know that, we have somewhere for them to go every day, because I work and my sister has other things going on. I mean, it's a safe place for them. They have a lot of activities, so it keeps them active and happy, and everyone is caring and attentive to them, so it's a good environment for them.
Jerry Nakamura isn't the only one who thinks this. As of 2013, there were 44.7 million people over 65 years of age in the United States. By 2060, there will be 98 million. Along with the increase in number of aging come the problems associated with aging. Over 5 million of our seniors suffer from Alzheimer's, and many others are just physically or mentally not able to take care of themselves every day. This puts a burden on families and creates a demand for quality senior care.
Because we have a huge aging population, we're at the very beginning of the baby boomer era, and as that goes on, our aged population is going to be much, much larger. And so it'll be more important than ever to have a daycare setting for both the Kūpuna and for their caregivers.
This is Allison Carr from Maui Intermediate School for HIKI NŌ.
And we get kisses from Betty, yeah, Betty?
In our final story, Hilo High School student Lally Higa faces an irreversible loss, one that changed her life forever. Overcoming an obstacle of this magnitude wasn't easy, but she does it all with the love and care from her compassionate grandparents. From Hilo High School on the Big Island, here is Losing a Parent.
Lally's a typical high school student. She hangs out with friends, plays sports, and has a boyfriend. But after school, instead of going home to her parents, she goes home to her grandparents.
Preschool was when I started living with my grandparents. They never really told me, like straight up, why I was raised by them. Kind of took the hint that it's because my parents were really young when they had me. Like my mom was 16 and my dad was 18, and you know, teenagers.
She gives us very little problems, you know.
Right
she seems to just get it, what she's supposed to be doing without us hammering it home, you know, and her grades are showing that she's doing pretty well in school. With her, it's actually not a real problem. It's pretty easy.
At an early age, Lally had lived with her grandparents along with her father for a couple of years. However, a sudden change had occurred and Lally was separated from her parents. Despite this, Lally was able to keep a strong relationship with her mother.
We were really close. She was like a big sister, which was my mom. Because everyone would get us like confused. They'd think she's my sister in the store or something like that. I'm like, no, she's my mom. And
although Lally maintained a strong relationship with her mother, there was always a lingering problem.
She was born with a heart problem. She had surgery, I think, a couple of times, and she was supposed to go in January for surgery. She didn't want to go because she wanted to spend time with her family. She was afraid that if she went, something would happen. They called me and they told me that my mom's in the hospital. They gave her oxygen and she couldn't really breathe, like she was hyperventilating and stuff like that. They kept her on the machine, that machine that you put down the throat, and so it was on for about a week. Yeah. Well, actually our family was like trying to wake her up because she was also in like a coma. And so we were trying and then nothing happened.
Despite this tragic loss, Lally continued to grow and thrive. But she couldn't have done this without her grandparents' love and support.
She has something in her too that makes her special. She's still coming along, you know, she's not a finished product yet, you know, none of us are.
Ultimately, we want her to have a good life. And we think, I mean, you gotta have a good foundation for a good life.
Life throws many obstacles at us, and we are able to overcome them with the help of people close to us. For Lally, she went through something a very few kids go through, but with the help of her grandparents, she was able to reach her goals and develop the building blocks to living an unbelievable life. This is Alyssa Kaneshiro reporting from Hilo High for HIKI NŌ.
Well, we've come to the end of the first of 4 special HIKI NŌ episodes focused on compassion. It's no question that HIKI NŌ students care for and have a deep appreciation for our Kūpuna. The lessons, values, and experiences they have passed on to the next generation have been and will be invaluable pieces of wisdom for the road ahead. Stay tuned for our segment next week where our HIKI NŌ students focus on the parent and child relationship. Until then, this is Crystal Cebedo for HIKI NŌ. A hui ho.
Broadcasts of HIKI NŌ are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo. And by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI NŌ.